somehow pull 2 out of 3 in Anaheim against the Angels. They did not deserve those wins at all, but we'll take them and run with like thieves in the night. Let's get into it. Yeah, winning 2 out of 3 when your run differential on the whole series is -2, that's hard to do. Having a run differential of -2 when you manage to score 21 runs over those 3 games is also very hard to do and alarming. In 2022, the hallmark of the Blue Jays' success and honestly keeping their head above water when a lot of stuff was going wrong was 1-run wins. And yes, Jordan Romano was a big part of that, but it was also just kind of a lot of luck. And I said in my season preview video that I was worried that we weren't going to get a lot of that luck going forward. Chris Bassitt did a pretty nice job in Game 1. I'm not going to lie, I was a bit of a, oh no, here we go again, giving up another home run to the second batter he saw in the first game. Oh boy, that's exactly what happened in the Cardinals game, but this one worked out rather better. First of all, the home run he gave up was to Mike Trout. I mean, you're not allowed to get mad at a guy when he gives up a home run to the greatest player of our generation. That's just going to happen. It's going to happen sometimes. You got to be able to move past that. And Chris did. He held it down the rest of the way, looked shaky at times, but was able to get key ground balls at key moments. Not exactly striking guys out and walking way too many guys, but on the whole, looking more like a guy who can actually get big league hitters out, which is the guy we thought we were getting. Exactly the kind of guy that you want to plug in as the third starter on a very good team. So yes, I'm officially taking Chris Bassitt out of the trouble area. He's now in the, I think we can count on this guy, maybe, question mark, hopefully, category. That's a better category to be in. And when I said it was luck that the Blue Jays won this game, that's not really true. What it mostly was a massive clutch 3-run home run from Bo Bichette at exactly the right time, and then some sterling bullpen work by the back half of the bullpen to close out the game, in which the Angels never really threatened once Bassitt was out of the game. It was quite nice, actually. And Bo, for all that he's had a couple of moments that make you want to tear your hair out defensively, offensively speaking, this guy is dialed in. This is a guy who is part of the most dangerous 2-3-4, I think, in baseball right now. And considering that 2-3-4 doesn't even include guys like George Springer or Dalton Varsho, who are also quite good and off to decent starts, or Kevin Kiermaier, who is a destroyer of worlds, apparently. We'll get back to him in a minute. I would say that Bo is in a really good place. If he can just kind of iron out the thing of like kicking balls into center field or airmailing them 20 feet over Vlad's head, if we can just get rid of those things, money in the bank. Game 2, the Barrios start. I don't really want to talk about it too much because there's not a whole lot new to say. These are the same problems he had last year, the same problems he had in Game 1, it's the same problem he has here. He looked good for like 3 innings and then exploded. And like most times when he explodes, he has a hard time mitigating damage. He has a hard time preventing things from snowballing into something much worse and much worse and much worse. And in fact, in that 4th inning where things got really bad for Barrios, he kind of got saved by a great play from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. If he doesn't make that pick to get the 3rd out, that inning might still be going today. So I'm just running out of words. I'm running out of different ways to say, hey, stop leaving hanging breaking balls in the middle of the plate, please. And unlike in Game 1, the bullpen didn't have quite as much in terms of quality in Game 2. It wasn't even like it was bad. Hunter Renfroe just had a spectacular game. You don't really expect that from him. It's just, sometimes you're going to lose baseball games. We lost this baseball game. I think they expended so much juice on Game 1, they didn't have any left in Game 2. And when Barrios continues to suck despite making all that money, maybe they're just a little bit demoralized? I don't know. I don't really want to talk about that game. It was a little bit sad. Let's just move on to the fun stuff. So Game 3 was one of the most ridiculous goddamn things I've ever seen in my life. I listened to the first part of the game on the radio driving in to my parents' place for Easter dinner, and I was totally ready to not watch it when we got in. Because we're down 6-0, this game's over before it begins. Kikuchi is fine, a little hard luck at the beginning, but then he wasn't able to really stop the bleeding, kind of Barrios style. The bullpen's in here getting lit up for huge dongs. I mean, what are we watching this for? Really? Losing 2 out of 3 in the final, going home 500? Okay, it's all a little underwhelming. I could just eat ham and enjoy my life, right? Why am I punishing myself? But a funny thing happened on the way to that 6-0 drubbing. Matt Chapman hit a grand slam because he cannot be stopped right now. And then what I really want to talk about is a 2-run triple from from Kevin Kiermaier to tie it up. What? Listen, I was all kind of hot to trot that Kevin Kiermaier might provide us with 200 batting average, maybe a 280 on base percentage, elite defense in center field for about 80 games this year before he gets hurt. I thought that's the kind of guy we were signing, and I was happy enough to get that. This is way better. He's saying he's the healthiest he's felt in 2 years this year, and it looks it. Now, Brandon Belt is saying the same thing, and he looks god-awful, so it's really hard to know who to believe in these kind of things, but I'm inclined to believe KK because he is absolutely tearing the cover off the ball, hitting it with authority down the right field line, and then flying around the bases in a very endearing and not traditionally Blue Jays-ian style. Oh, I love it. I could get used to this. Let's just keep doing this all year. If you want to keep hitting 400 out of the 9-hole for the whole season, Kevin, do not let me stand in your way. He won't, obviously, and he's probably not going to hit for this much power either. He's probably just going to try to slap it, gap to gap, up the middle, get on base so that the big guys can drive him in. That's what he said the plan was. This whole driving in runs, he drove in 5 runs in this game. I would be surprised if you expected him to drive in 5 runs a month. Might be a little bit too much, but driving in 5 runs in a game, all day I'll take this. Yes, please. And we needed all 5 of those runs because, Trevor Richards shouldn't be on this team, like at all. It wasn't a banner day for a lot of guys in the bullpen, but it was especially not a banner day for Trevor Richards. We are getting to TikTok on the clock for Nate Pearson to come on down. I get it that maybe you're hoping that you get a few more innings under your belt so you feel more secure in that, but the gulf between Richards and everyone else in the bullpen is getting wider by the appearance. It's getting to the point where, you could probably get someone more effective than him just off the waiver wire. Call up Zach Thompson. Call up Mitch White when he's remotely healthy. Call up anybody. Anybody's got to be better than Trevor Richards at this point. And if you're worried about losing the asset for nothing, don't. No one's going to pick him up at this point, nor should they. He's double plus on good. He shouldn't be on the team at all. And he especially shouldn't be brought in leverage situations, which he was and almost blew the thing yesterday when the team has come all the way back from down 6-0 to take a 10-6 lead, and then the bullpen conspires to make it 10-10, and then the offense gives you 2 more and it's 12-10, and Trevor Richards is the guy you call to put out the fire? No, sir. No, John, no. That's unacceptable. So, as foreseen by nobody but except me, apparently, Trevor Richards does everything he can to give the game away again, and it comes down to a clutch appearance from Tim Meza to get 0-2 on Ohtani before getting him to dribble out to the right side to end the ball game, secure 2 out of 3 by the skin of your teeth, and get home for the home opener with a winning record after a 10-game road trip to start the season. Yes, please. This doesn't feel as impressive because the Tampa Bay Rays are perfect on the season and have been just beating up on terrible teams for the last week and a half. Where's our stretch of terrible teams, by the way? I know we got Kansas City and we're about to have Detroit, but shush. But I would be remiss if I didn't backtrack a little bit and talk about this offense that's going on right now, specifically Bo, Vlad, and Chappie. No one in the world wants to face these guys. It's unbelievable. Chapman is the very first Blue Jay in the history of this club. This club that has had more than its share of offensive dynamos. He is the first player in Blue Jays history to have a .475 average and an OPS of 1,300 or better over the course of the first 10 games of the season. Jose didn't do that. Edwin didn't do that. Joe Carter didn't do that. George Bell didn't do that. Fred McGriff didn't do that. Johnny Olerud didn't do that. Robbie Alomar didn't do that. Paul Molitor didn't do that. Dave Winfield didn't do that. Matt Chapman has done that. Nuts. It's to the point where Vlad's had an outstanding start to his season. Just excellent. Truly elite stuff. No one's talking about it because all anyone can do is just have these heart-shaped eyes just staring at Matt Chapman, and I don't blame them. Bo Bichette has been as dialed in as he was for the entire month of September when he completely resurrected his season last year. He's been just as good to start the year this year. No one's talking about that. It's all Matt Chapman all day, and I get it. Dalton Varsho, an explosive and wonderfully useful debut as a Blue Jay. All Chapman all the time. This is just how it's going to be until the man cools off, and he refuses to cool off. Let's just ride this train for as long as it goes, shall we? And hopefully we can ride it a little bit longer because now we're going to look ahead to the home opening series. Yes, the Blue Jays finally get home to their much talked about, shown and ballyhooed renovations at Skydome. We get to see them in person in action against the garbage Detroit Tigers. Ooh, this should be fun. You can't go into any series in Major League Baseball. They're all professional, big league players. Any team can beat any team on any given day. You can't go into a series and say, we should sweep these guys. But if ever you could come into a series and say, we should sweep these guys, this is that series. We should sweep these guys. The Tigers are supremely ungood. They're also quite injured in addition to being ungood. So they're not in a good spot. Blue Jays just came off of a very difficult road trip where they won more than they lost. They should feel pretty good about themselves after that. They've got their 1, 2, and 3 best starting pitchers on the hill for the series. They've got the hottest hitter on the planet and several other very good hitters too. This is a team that looks absolutely primed to dominate this series. 2 out of 3 is a must. 3 out of 3, I think, is more what you're shooting for here. Like, this is the point where you don't even really worry about what the Tigers are going to do. Take care of your own business and you'll win the game. It's that simple. If Alek Manoah doesn't implode and the ball doesn't get kicked around egregiously, you feel like they're going to win the first game. Ditto the Kevin Gausman game, because those two are just as close to automatic as you're going to get as starting pitchers. It's a real luxury, y'all. And then Chris Bassitt, I mean, if any kind of offense is going to struggle to hit a guy with 8 different pitches that he can locate with reasonable efficacy, it is a young, not very disciplined Tigers team that's going to flail over top of all his breaking stuff. Like, it's basically a bunch of kids and the artist formerly known as Javier Baez. Yeah. So you can't say we should sweep him, but we should sweep him. So let's do that. Okay, I'm going to call it there. That's the end of this. I would really like Jose Barrios to become himself. That would be great. I'm now realizing that he's going to lead off the Rays series, which follows the Tigers series. Oh, God, that's going to be a disaster. No, we have 3 days of joy before we get to that. Let's just focus on that. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for watching this channel. Like and subscribe if you are so inclined. I will see you after the Tigers series. Happy home opening to all.